the world's first 16-second pit stops.
Well, that physical preparation also benefited Rusty Wallace. 10 years to the day when you went flipping down the backstretch at Daytona when you were first trying to break into this, you had exactly the same thing happen to you in this year's Daytona 500. It was a horrific crash right down the backstretch.
Yeah, it was. It was a terrible crash. A couple cars lost it up coming off of turn 2. They came across the track. I tried to miss them, but we tangled with my right rear quarter panel. The car started flipping violently, and it was a major crash. And I can't believe I walked away from it the way I did, but the safety things that NASCAR's put through now are much, much better.
Let's go back and take a look at it, though, because I've always wondered what goes through a driver's mind, first when he loses control and as it pursues down the road.
Well, first of all, when I saw the cars coming, I thought I could clear them. I did, and then I got hit in the right rear. First of all, the thing abruptly flew to the right. The windshield flew out of it because the air got inside the car. I backsteered to the left trying to correct it. That wasn't no avail. It finally hooked on the left rear corner. And when it did that, it just threw the nose straight up in the air, and it started doing end-over-end flips before.
Now, right there, what's going through your mind? What are you doing inside the race car?
Right there, when it blew over and I knew it was gone, I just got myself in a position where I caged my eyeballs. I closed my eyes as tight as I could so my eyes wouldn't pop out of my head. I held on the car as tight as I could. I kind of got down in a fetal position, so to speak, got my chin against my chest, and just got as small as I possibly could. The full-face helmet really helped a lot, I got to tell you that. But I just held on to it, finally stopped, and when I opened my eyes, there was still metal and hoods and debris flying out of the sky like it was raining metal. And when Penske came across the radio, he said, "Rusty, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." I couldn't believe the radio was still working, for one. And it held in there, and there was a lot of relieved fans in the grandstands when that happened.
If you're pretending you're in the race car right now, show us the fetal position you're talking about. How do you hunch over?
Well, what happened was, first of all, when it happened, I just grabbed my hands and I put them on the bottom of the steering wheel. I mean, we're talking milliseconds, okay? This isn't, I'm thinking about it. It's just an immediate reaction. I tried to steer the car as long as I could. When I knew it was gone, then it was just time to brace yourself. So I took my hands and I got to the bottom of the steering wheel, and I got down real hard, like this, real small. And I put an extra seat belt above my chest. It's called a sternum belt that Bill Simpson made for me. But what happened when I got down so hard that when the car kept landing, my chin kept jamming in the seat belt, kept cutting my chin. But that's no big deal, because the way that crash took, it held me in the car real tight. And I got real sore ribs from the extra side support on the seat to jam me in the underarm. But I was just holding on, just trying to get as small as I possibly could inside the car, because there was shrapnel flying everywhere.
When the car starts to come apart like that, too, there's so much energy that's being absorbed, but you brought your helmet with you, and what's interesting about the helmet is we saw the windshield come out of this car. You can see the dirt that's flying everywhere. It's not been that long that you've been wearing this kind of a helmet.
No, I always wore the open-face helmet back in 88 and 89 and 90. And when I started driving for Roger in 91, he said, "Hey, you look, Rick and Emerson and Tracy, they all wear the full-face helmets. I don't understand why you don't do that." I said, "Well, they're confining." And so Simpson took the helmet for me, and he cut it back. He made more peripheral vision on the side for me. And then he put this air vent in, and it just pumps a lot of air in the side. It makes your face cooler. You can see better. And with the crash you just saw, what happened, the debris was hitting the shield. It was hitting all through it. And after the race was over, we looked at the helmet, and it took a lot of impacts all through it. And I got to tell you, if I wouldn't have had that full-face helmet on, I might be blind right now. Because, I mean, it was like literally like bullets shooting inside the car with debris. And I'm not the only one that's took a bad wreck. Ricky Rudd has, and Harry Gant, and a lot of drivers, and Davey Allison, too. But Davey had one of these helmets on when he took his bad crash at over there at Pocono.
Well, let's go back and talk about Saturday coming up. Sitting on the outside of you is someone that you've always said is your best friend. He drives like you, the man in black, the other man in black, Dale Earnhardt. What could we expect at the drop of the green flag with the two of you leading this field down?
We're both pretty smart drivers, I think. We're both real aggressive drivers. I don't think that we both drive in that corner and cause a wreck. I'm looking at 500 miles. I'm looking at winning a race, and Dale is too. Although I think Dale remembers the last time him and I got involved in that. Rockingham, North Carolina, we drove down to turn 3 side by side. I lost air off the side of my car, lost it, hit him, he spun, he crashed, I went on, and I finished second in the race. We're going to be careful, but I think the fans are glad to see the 2 and the 3 back racing each other. The cars are good. I really like what Dale's team looks like. I think Andy Petrie was good. He's really smart on the radial tires. Dale hasn't lost anything. He's strong as ever, and he's a good friend of mine. And I tell you what, I think it's a good-looking front row.
Paul, they say this is